recording here. Oh, okay. Hello. Welcome to episode 2 of Scare Scream Theater, the podcast. This is the companion piece to Scare Scream Theater, the live show that I do once a month at Doc's Drive-In Theater, the first Sunday of the month, which is awesome. And I decided to do this podcast for several reasons. I think I went over them in the first episode. I don't want to rehash old potatoes right here. I'm trying to see if I am streaming right now on Instagram Live, so it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy start for a second, but I'll just go ahead and keep talking. If we're not live, that's okay. What are we going to do? This will be posted on YouTube eventually, and it's also going to be pushed out to all of the podcast networks, so that's really what matters. Okay. All right. I'm looking at 5 different things. So, if I sound a little hoarse, I believe they call that a pony. If I sound a little hoarse, it's because I played at Trees in Dallas, Deep Ellum specifically, with my band, The Immortals, this past weekend. We got to play with some amazing bands, Coilback, Midnight Murder Show, and Ghoultown. And those dudes all let us headline, which was great. Trees is a great venue. It's been around forever. So that was the first time we played there. And it was really fun. There's all sorts of scary stories going on about Deep Ellum right now, how it's unsafe and this, that, and the other. But I will say there was a large police presence there, and I don't know what's been going on there. But when we were there, it's fine. I enjoyed myself. Oh, if you hear the dogs, I'm sorry. I have dogs. The Dachshunds of the Doom, specifically Herman and Gomez. Gomez was right here, but he's gone. They're protecting their mama. Herman and Gomez got really sick recently. I wanted to tell y'all about that. They got very ill, and they got into something toxic to their liver, and I thought that Gomez wasn't going to make it. And it was heartbreaking. It was super heartbreaking. And it was also pocketbook breaking, you know what I mean? To have 2 dogs have to be hospitalized, treated with IV medications and a variety of other meds. It was a lot. But they're doing so much better now. It's still, yay, I see. Okay, I'm live on YouTube, I think. Anyway, it's, somebody said Dachshunds of the Doomed in the house. That's right. So I'm glad that they're feeling better, but isn't it just tragic? Can you hear one of them squeaking his toy now? I should have taken away their squeaky toys. What is going on? Why am I not ready? Why isn't anybody ready? Okay. So we covered the Dachshunds of the Doomed. We covered the Trees show. Let me tell you this one. We set up a Google phone number because I'd like you guys to be able to call and leave me a message to either ask me a question or just give me, a message. Tell me something, whatever it is, make me aware of something in your universe, whatever you want. That number is 512-710-8766. This isn't my personal phone number, weirdos. It's a Google phone number. And just call it. Leave me a message. I'll play it on the podcast and I'll answer your questions. Okay. I think that'll be fun and interactive. Let's make this podcast your podcast. Again, 512-710-8766. So obviously, if you call it now, I'm not going to get it now. But the next time I do the podcast, I can play your message. And I plan on doing this podcast once a week. I think Monday nights are good. Maybe Sunday night. Sometimes it's just going to kind of depend on what I have going on. I'm a busy witch, especially this time of year. Coming into spooky season, I get really busy. What's coming up soon is on the 20th, we have Austin Spotlight Film Festival. I almost said Dachshund of the Doom. Damsel of the Doom, the movie that I wrote and star in, has been selected to play there, and we're up for a bunch of awards, so that's cool. The 26th, I have a murder mystery at Mama Merlot's. That's on the Doc's Drive-In Theater property. You can go onto the website, Doc's Drive-In Theater, or the Mama Merlot's website to get tickets. And on the 27th, it's the opening night at Bat City Scaregrounds. If you go to Bat City Scaregrounds, which is a giant haunted attraction that has 3 haunted houses, a big stage with performers, a fun just area to roam around. There's food and treats and all sorts of stuff. If you go there, I'm the first person you see. I sit upon Witch Mountain. I'll give you some treats, maybe some tricks. not in that way. I mean, like, I'll trick you, as in, like, actually, I don't usually pass out the tricks. That's Orlock, my counterpart. Okay, so that's the 27th. I hope to see you at Bat City Scaregrounds this year. This past weekend, so I did the Immortal show at Trees in Dallas. Oh, by the way, the first time I ever went to Deep Ellum in Dallas, which is where Trees is located, I was in my very, very early 20s. And I remember we were at this club and there was a DJ booth set up and it had all this equipment, your typical DJ booth. And then I was up on this platform dancing and I looked down at the DJ booth and the DJ was in there with a lady and he was pleasuring the lady orally and everybody could see it. And I was shocked because I was from a small town. Well, a medium-sized town. I'm from a town in West Texas and I had never seen nothing like that before. So that opened my eyes. Let me tell you what. Okay. Enough about that. I also went to, yesterday, I went out to Emo's here in Austin, Texas with my good friend Ryan, who treated me to the Bugaloot Brothers Dragula live show. How fun was that? I've seen the Bugaloot Brothers before. I want to say it was 2019 at Elysium. And that was when their show Dragula was just kind of getting started, getting its legs. And they were amazing then. They're amazing now. I love what they do and the queens they have on their show, the monsters, I should say, because a lot of them are really great performers, but they're all amazing artists and their costumes and their makeup, it's all very inspiring. One of the queens I saw last night, or the monsters, however you want to say, was Anti-Heroine, Gray Matter, Majesty, and Asia Consent, who was the winner, I think, of this last season of Dragula. But and they were all wonderful. But I have to give a special hat tip to Anti-Heroine because not only was her makeup impeccable, and her costume was just to the nines. It's what a witch could dream of. But her performance, she's got it. Anti-Heroine, the bitch has got it. Okay. She's captivating. She had that audience in the palm of her hand. Everybody was screaming for her when she wanted them to scream for her. Everybody was just watching her every move. She was running around the room. The audience was getting dizzy, turning to look for her. Anti-Heroine, she ate. Now, the rest of the monsters, they all did great. Don't get me wrong. They all were amazing, but hat tip to Anti-Heroine. Now, the Bugaloot Brothers themselves, can I please just have all of their clothes, please? Please? It's like exactly my aesthetic. Exactly. I just would like them to please consider sending me your cast-offs. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take them. I'll use them. I just need one. You have two. I'll buy them from you. Okay. What else do we have here? Okay. No, I gave you all this. All right. What I wanted to say about Scare Scream Theater is I think I'm going to go ahead and switch this on to my Instagram story because I don't think I'm doing live. So what I wanted to say about Scare Scream Theater is I want it to be a weekly podcast. I've been doing Scare Scream Theater since September of 2023. And I write down, I host these horror movies, I do them live, and I write in this book, I write down what I want to say about the movies. I don't review the movies. I don't say like this was a good movie or this was a bad movie. I like good and bad movies. You know what I mean? Bad movies are fun. But I don't like reviewing them in that way. What I like to do is tell you a bunch of facts about the movie and explain kind of the history of the movie. That I just love that stuff. It's what I research whenever I'm getting ready to host my live show. But like I said, I write it all down in here. So I've got all of this information I could share with you. Now, I don't know if I'm going to go back and tell you about every movie I've screened since 2023, but I did think today would be a good day for me to tell you about the first one I did. Okay. Picture it. September 7th, 2023. I was trying to figure out, this was going to be a big thing for me. let me hit live here. I was going to figure out like what is the first movie I'm going to show at Scary Scream Theater. Okay. Let's hit this button. All right. I knew I wanted to pick something that was going to kick off the vibe of Scary Scream Theater. And the vibe of Scary Scream Theater, I would say, is I want to show movies that I feel deserve to be seen on the big screen. One of the things I really like about Terror Tuesdays at Alamo Drafthouse is I get to go there and I get to see, Nightmare on Elm Street 1 on the big screen, which I would have never had the opportunity to do when it came out originally. You know what I mean? I was too little back then. So I want Scream Theater to be showing movies that I think should be seen on the big screen. I want to show movies that some are popular movies. Some, everybody knows, everybody loves. Like, for example, Scream. I showed Scream, the original one. Everybody knows Scream. Most people have seen Scream. But I still wanted to show it because a lot of people, especially the younger generation, hasn't had the opportunity to see Scream on the big screen. So that's cool. Now, here's the thing, though. I also want to show hidden gems in movies that your big horror fans are going to know about, your collectors are going to know about, but not everybody will know about them. And that's what led me to choose this first movie that I did. Hello, everyone. I'm saying hi to the Instagram chat now. And the first movie I chose for Scary Scream Theater was Pieces. This movie came out in 1982. It was directed by Juan Picor Simon, and he's a Spanish guy. I think the Spanish title was The Night of a Thousand Screams, but in Spanish. Okay, I'm not going to try to say it in Spanish right now. Now, Juan, he lived in Madrid, okay? And he was famous back then for producing and directing exploitation films. One second. Sorry, I thought someone was in the doorway. It's probably a ghost. So Juan was, he was known for doing exploitation films. Now, what is an exploitation film? All right. Simple answer, okay? It's one that tries to succeed financially by exploiting lurid content in niche genres, mostly B movies. There's a variety. Now there's like a subculture of exploitation films. You have sexploitation movies, blaxploitation movies. You have gratuitous nudity can be an exploitation, and under the sexploitation one. Anything that has sensational violence can be an exploitation. Like I said, blaxploitation is usually racial stereotypes are involved. There's bizarre films that would be an exploitation film. And so this director was known for that in Madrid. And the exploitation films, they were usually grindhouse movies, and they had their heyday. And they're interesting, a lot of the stuff you could get away with back then in the 70s and 80s, you can't get away with so much today. But they're still out there for everyone to see. Now, a film critic, Ian Conrick, notes that this film is a hybrid amalgamation of body horror, splatter films, and Italian giallo. Now, I would say the Italian giallo piece of Pieces is there's a killer. I think there's a black glove involved. It's been a while since I've seen Pieces. And that's about it. The way the camera works as the killer's perspective is, kind of how they do it in Italian giallo, Dario Argento films and things like that. Okay. The splatter film, I could definitely see. It's definitely bloody. It's definitely gory. You know what I mean? Body horror, I wouldn't call it a body horror film. When I think of body horror films, I think of, most recently, for example, The Substance. I think of body horror as being something where the body itself changes, not just getting cut up. So whatever, Ian Conrick, film critic, I don't agree. Okay. So I want to let you know, if you haven't seen Pieces, what I find charming about it is its unintentional absurdity. Okay. It's unintentionally absurd, which is one of my favorite things. Another movie that does this that is not a horror movie is that called, what is that one? Oh gosh, of the girl that goes to Vegas and she's in it's not called Striptease, is it? No. Showgirls. Oh my God. Showgirls is unintentionally absurd. And it's one of my favorite things to watch because it's so funny, because it takes itself very seriously, but it's so dumb. And I love it. In this movie, Pieces is also unintentionally absurd. The dialogue is just weird. You know what I mean? The story itself is weird. Everything about this movie is weird, and it's delicious because of it. Have you guys seen it? Yeah, Showgirls, you got it. Unintentionally absurd, exactly. So, sorry, I was talking in the chat. Now, not only is the plot unintentionally absurd, but the over-the-top acting is. There's weird dubbing that's going on. The dialogue is just fucking weird. They let him improvise some dialogue, which a lot of movies allow, but the improvised dialogue was just off, and they kept it. They kept it in the film, baby. And I'm glad, because it makes it chef's kiss, delicious. And the ending of Pieces is, you know how everybody's always talking about the ending of Sleepaway Camp as being super shocking, especially at its time. The ending of Pieces is shocking, but it's also one of the weirdest movie endings of any movie I've ever seen. It's worth the whole thing just to see that ending. Freaking weird. Okay. At times the movie plays like an old school porno. I'm not kidding. Like there's a few scenes where I'm like, where are we going here? What's going on here? And back in the day, this is when they started really getting into gratuitous nudity. Back in the day, I was telling a friend the other day, back in the day, horror movies that were in the 80s, if they didn't have women's boobies bouncing around on screen, people didn't consider it a horror movie. I am not joking. There was elevated horror back then for sure. I'll tell you what they were. The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, The Omen. Those were what we would consider to this day as being elevated horror. But slashers, girl, you had to show your titties, okay? If you wanted to be an actress in a slasher movie, you had to show your boobs. Both nips. Oh my God, I just sprayed Crystal Light all over the fucking place. Okay. So there's also long scenes of girls undressing, just like it focuses a little too long on it. The camera stays a little too long. There's like this weird saxophone music playing in the background during that time. I'm telling you, porno. There's a bizarre post-coital scene in the movie that's just weird. The way that the female characters are written in this movie is like they're grown-up children. You know what I mean? They're all doing that baby voice. Let me just tell you something right now. If you're a grown woman and you do the fucking baby voice, if you talk like this, let me demonstrate. Why are you mad at me? Or if you say stuff like, can you please get me a pickle? I'm real hungry. And you talk like the baby voice. Don't. Okay? Don't do that. It's dumb. And I don't like you. Don't do it. It's weird. Don't do it around me. One time this girl did it around me. We were at oh God, I don't want to give too much away. I was on a trip and there was another girl on the trip with me. And she goes, Sarah. That's what she called me. She replaced the R with a W like she had a speech impediment of a child. Fucking baby voice. If you're a grown woman, don't fucking do a baby voice. If you're a grown man, you can. I don't care. That's how I hear you in my head anyway. Okay. The death scenes in this movie are terrific. Juan, the director, he owned his own studio and created and designed many of the special effects himself. That's what I like about filmmakers is directors that are filmmakers are more than just directing the film. They're often controlling the edit, the musical score, and in this case, the special effects. Filmmakers have their hands in many aspects of the film. Directors that are just directors, they're just directing and they hand off everything to somebody else at the end. They might help and oversee the editing, but it's handed off still. You'll see in the credits, edited by so and so. But filmmakers, they got their fingers in every single pie. Okay. Oh, also in Pieces, there's this weird Bruce Lee impersonator, and he just is in there for no reason. For no reason. Makes no sense in the story. There he is. And I got to tell you, I love it. All right. This movie's not a fine art film. Okay. It was not up for any Academy Awards. I don't know what to tell you. This is a freaking horror movie from the 80s. It's got a runtime of like 85 minutes, which is perfect. It moves along nicely. The pacing's great, even when the fake Bruce Lee comes in for no fucking reason. Oh, somebody in chat just said their mom would talk in baby voice from time to time for attention. That's why they all do it. They all infantilize themselves for attention, and I don't know why. Somebody says it sounds like a horror version of The Room. Bruce Light. Okay. They're asking me what movie I'm talking about in the chat. I'm talking about the movie Pieces from 1982. You should definitely see it. I believe you could find it online still. Yeah, I think that might have been all I wrote about Pieces. So let me tell you, that night, September 7th, that was my very first Scream Theater of 2023, I showed that movie, okay? And I remember I had some people come up to me and they were like, oh, that was weird. That was a weird movie. Like they had some kind of judgment for me that I was showing a weird movie. Listen, if you're a horror fan and you don't have a spectrum of horror movies that you like and you only like one lane of horror, you're not the type of fan I am. I like a wide range. I like everything from high elevated horror where it's very artistic and the story's impeccable. These are the ones that are up for Oscar nominations. The Shape of Water, you know what I mean? I like it like that, and I like it all the way down to Leprechaun 3. You know what I mean? Like, I like the gambit. And Pieces is a weird fucking movie. And I enjoy it. There's one scene where this woman screams, "Bastards!" You could just Google Pieces, bastards, and that'll just show you the vibe of the movie. You'll be like, what in the fuck is this, Scara? And I'll be like, you're welcome. Okay? You're welcome. So I'm going to look at my chat now. Somebody says, have you ever seen the old one called The Changeling? Yes, I have. That's actually one of my mother's favorite horror movies, and she doesn't like horror movies because she thinks they're from Satan. Imagine our relationship. Somebody says, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 is your jam. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is the best. And I got to, at Houston Horror, interview Bill Moseley, Caroline Williams, and the dude who played Leatherface, whose name is escaping me right now. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is ridiculous, and I love it. It's great. It's a great movie. I'm haven't screened that one at Scream Theater yet, but I will in this coming year. You better believe it. You better believe it, buddy. Oh, now I'm looking at my YouTube chat. Misty says hi. Hi, Misty. Slumber Party Massacre. I got to screen that one at, I think it was my first or second year of Scream Theater. I showed Slumber Party Massacre. I love that movie as well. It's another one that's, kind of absurd. Slumber Party Massacre came after the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and was capitalizing on not only the name, but also the fact that they used common tools to murder people. In Slumber Party Massacre, they use a variety of common tools, if you remember. What else we got? Troll 2. Yeah. Like these are great, ridiculous, dumb horror movies that we all love. And then there's other, like I said, I like horror movies that are smart as well. I am a fan of Jordan Peele's horror movies. I am a fan of Ari Aster. I am a fan of these fellas. But I also like the crazy and strange and weird ones. And unintentionally absurd is my favorite lane of horror. And I do think Sleepaway Camp is unintentionally absurd too. I don't think they meant for that to be as weird as it was. I mean, I do think they knew what they were doing with, I feel like I shouldn't be spoiling it just in case somebody hadn't seen it. If you hadn't seen Sleepaway Camp, you're about fucking 40 years late, boy. But I think they knew what they were doing with the ending and the end message of that movie, but I don't think they knew how weird it was going to play off, especially through the annals of time. You know what I mean? Watching those people. The Leprechaun ones are good. They're just funny. Those are, comedy horror movies. Sorry, I'm reading my comments again. Somebody says, didn't one of the Slumber Party Massacres have a guitar with a drill on it? If they didn't, they should. If they didn't, they should. That's the other fun thing about horror movies are the creative kills that people come up with these days. You think you've seen it all, and then somebody comes up with something new. For example, the first Terrifier where the girl's hung upside down and they cut her right down the middle. I can't tell you. That makes me cross my legs every time I see that scene. I cross my legs and I squeeze. Kegels. You know what I mean? All right. How long has this been going on? 25 minutes? We got about 5 more minutes. I'm aiming to do these for about 30 minutes, I suppose. So I'm going to remind everybody again, because we have people in the Instagram chat now. Write this number down, family. It is 512-710-8766. I'm going to make a post where I put it again, but it's 512-710-8766. If you call that, it's a Google number. You can leave a message. You could either ask me a question or just leave me a message, saying whatever you want, saying something about your favorite horror movie or, anything. And I'll play it on the next episode of Scare Scream Theater, the podcast. The next Scare Scream Theater, we do them on the first Sundays of every month. I don't have my calendar up, but you have calendars, right? Look up the first Sunday of October, and that's when I am doing my next Scare Scream Theater. I haven't picked yet which movie I'm going to show, but I do enjoy showing Halloween horror during the month of October. Now, one might argue, well, isn't all horror movies Halloween? No, because my definition of a Halloween horror movie is one that the story features Halloween. It either is the setting is Halloween or it features something related to Halloween. Okay. Last year, I think year 1, I showed Halloween 3, the one without Mike Myers, the one with the Shamrock Mask Company. 8 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. That one. Love it. And then I also showed last year, I think it was Hell House. Was it Hell House? No. It was one of the ones, Haunt maybe. It was one of the ones about a haunted house, about like a haunt, like where I work, like Bat City Scaregrounds. So somebody on Instagram asked if I've seen the Fear Street movies on Netflix. I saw the first 1 or 2 in there. I think there's 3 and I only saw the first 2. Somebody asked how my dogs are doing. The Dachshunds of the Doomed are doing well. If you stay 1 second, hold on. Come here, baby. Oh my goodness. I have Gomez. If you're just listening, you can't see him obviously, but if you're watching the YouTube or the Instagram live stream, oh, look how sweepy he is. Gomez, lick into the camera. Did you just hear Gomez? He licked his lips on camera in the microphone. Now, they both got really sick, Herman and Gomez. I think I said it at the beginning, but they got into something that was toxic to their liver. And I thought I was going to lose this baby. I did. I really, for a second, I was nervous. And then I decided to change it and shape the reality. I'm not joking, bitch. I shaped it. I started saying, it's already happened. Gomez is better. And I kept saying that. It's already happened. Gomez is better. It's already happened. Gomez is better. It's already happened. Gomez is better. And I believed it. And now look, it's already happened. Gomez is better. That's right, Gomez. That was him licking in the microphone again. Yeah, he was sick. He was really sick. He wasn't eating. He was throwing up. It was a bad thing. It was a bad thing. But then we shaped it. The reality. Chaos magic. Okay? You got to believe it. Yeah, manifest that. Manifest a well puppy. Oh, I love my dog so much. I really do. I still don't know what they got into as far as what was toxic. Things like medications, ibuprofen. There's a plant in the neighborhood that's toxic to dogs. Xylitol, which they put in a lot of sugar-free gums, is toxic to dogs, but I chew extra and they don't use xylitol, motherfucker. So I don't know what it was. But if I find out that there was some nefarious business going on and they, I don't know, got poisoned, if I find out, there will be a GoFundMe link for my bail money, okay? And you all have to help me out. You all have to help me out. That's right. Pagan manifestation. That's what we use around here. I gotta say, when your loved ones get sick, I think that's why, one of the reasons why religion exists, because you want to pray to something. But if you don't feel like praying to something, because you feel like a hypocrite because you don't ever pray, just shape your reality, okay? Shape it. Doesn't mean you don't believe in a higher power. Yeah, he's a sweet boy, Mike Gomez. He wants to go to sleep. It's about his bedtime. I'm going to put him back on the bed. Good. Boop. Now, here I am in my haunted Halloween room, by the way. Do y'all like it? I'm going to, maybe one of these podcasts, maybe I'll do, or actually not for a podcast, but just for a YouTube video. I'll do a little tour of my Halloween room and some other areas. But like I said, just to wrap it up, I'm hoping to do this once a week. I'm hoping to record either Sundays or Mondays. I'm trying to figure out how to live stream simultaneously to YouTube and to, thank you, Misty, and to Instagram. So we'll see. Then this recording gets pushed out to YouTube to stay there permanently until I delete it. And it gets pushed out to all the podcasting platforms. So I hope you listen to it there. Really, I want to make this our podcast. How Texan did I sound right there? Good Lord. I told you my origins are West Texas. But I want to make this podcast ours. You can go to my website, which is scaradamselofthedoom.com. If you go to the website, you can see all sorts of stuff, my dates for my appearances for myself and for my band. There's also, you can buy a t-shirt on there if you want. Go ahead and buy a t-shirt. You don't want to know how much money I spent on the Dachshunds of the Doomed. Okay. And we'll update the website with some other fun things. But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it off. You know what I mean? I don't want to just keep stretching this on for no dang reason. So I think we covered a lot today. We covered what I've been doing, what I'm going to be doing. We covered the movie Pieces. We covered the Dachshunds of the Doomed and their health. And I had a good time. I hope you did too. I'll see you next week for another episode of Scare Scream Theater, the podcast. That was going to be an evil laugh, and then I pulled back at the end, and it just kind of ended weak. I'm going to work on that. Next time, a better evil laugh. Okay. Bye, everyone. A goodbye. Goodbye. Let me get rid of this life.